hold on to me.
Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the best motor that is under $10. Now I know there's the Emax Ecos, which are really great motors, the iFlight Xing E, which are really great budget motors, which I'll have linked down below if you don't know what those are. And we have these are under 10 bucks. But these are the best performing motors under $10. They're $8.50 to be exact. And I wanted to put some numbers to them today. So we're going to take a look at the thrust tests, the efficiency, and I also want to talk about the performance. And I also want to put this into perspective so you understand what I'm trying to say here. This is an $8.50 motor. It's cheaper than your video transmitter's antenna. It's cheaper than the cheapest video transmitter in the market. Okay, that's just insane. And you can buy a ton of them for $100 or even less. For example, this is how I take my spares to the field, and I don't fly hard, or I don't practice really hard without this quadcopter, and I'm planning on another build with this. Why? Because again, it's so cheap for me to keep it running in the air, and it flies good, and it's not hindering my performance. The only thing that's hindering my performance is just my flying ability or my flying skills, and I don't blame these. The punch is there, not as, you know, as a top end motor obviously, but it's there, and you could totally use it for really nice situations. You can get a lot done with this, and you can also run a 5S on them, which I've done also. I needed some tune, so I stopped flying it on 5S. The motors come down cool, and it's handling perfect, which is a really great thing. Now, I'm talking about this exact motor here. I've used the Racer Stars 2306 versions. I've used the 2205s, but nothing of the budget Racer Star motors performs like this one, which again is the 2207 2500 kV, which should also be called 2650 kV because I've also tested the kV. And what this video is trying to do is help you get the most out of your money, especially if you're broke, or you just need a basher quad like me, because I'm still practicing also. I still don't have perfect skills, and I crash constantly. And this is the best way even for me, you know. When I break a T-motor, I just get broken inside, you know. It just hurts. Like, god damn, it's $25. But with these, I don't give a flying crap because it's cheaper than anything. I mean, you're more likely to break a video transmitter and antenna than the motor, and the motor is cheaper than the video transmitter, so you'd rather break a motor than a video transmitter's antenna. All right, so I've tested these on 4 different propellers. We've tested them on the Dalrc 5043C, Dalrc 5047, Nazgul 5140s, and the Dalrc 5145C. The Nazgul prop is okay, but it's the least efficient out of every propeller I am testing, and I'm still testing it on more motors to see what motor KV really fits this propeller. And let's take a look at this. So let's make sense of this. The blue here represents the thrust, the orange represents voltage, the yellow line represents the efficiency, gram force per watt, so how many grams of force we get per watt, and with the red bars here, it gives us the amperage. So with the Dalrc 5043C, if we take a look at the full throttle reading right now, we see we were getting 1.3 kilograms of thrust. That's really good. That's top spec, premium spec thrust there. But where most of the premium ones lies, usually the price lies into the coating of the windings so they can handle more heat without burning. The material they're using, whether it's titanium or some stronger aluminium. Here, obviously, they've shied away from the better build material and the better bearings, but that doesn't hinder your performance. You're more likely going to break it before that even becomes an issue. And if we look at down to the efficiency, this is really great efficiency. Look at the max amp draw, 37 amps at 1.3 kilograms. That is great. However, you also need to take something into consideration here, which is, even though the thrusts might be the same as a premium motor, sometimes the premium motor might have a bit more torque. So I'm going to be implementing torque testing as well into this. But out of my flight experience with a pretty heavy quad, it's not noticeable. I mean, it's still going to perform really nice and smoothly, and it'll get you out, and it's very responsive. So in terms of its performance, it's not going to hinder your flight performance unless, again, you're racing. Now, if we take a look at the efficiency on the Dalprop here, it is again the most efficient, and you know, the most efficient it was at 50% throttle. This is 50% throttle here, close to 500 grams of thrust at 7.2 amps. 7.2 amps. Let me put this into perspective. A micro 1103 motor can take 7 amps and give you 200 grams of thrust. So this is crazy. 426 grams for 7.2 amps. That's really great. That is really, really great. So it is very efficient. I mean, with 4 motors here, the battery will be very nice and smooth because you'll be pulling roughly 20 something amps here. No, a little bit more than that actually. 30 something amps, around 50% throttle, but you're still pushing around 1.2 kilograms of thrust, which is pretty good here. And it's really nice to see these results. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting 1.1 kilogram of thrust maximum here with some like really high amperage, but that's not what we're seeing. Now, if we move to a higher pitch prop, the efficiency drops, but not significantly. So it is pretty efficient. We're getting 1.3 kilograms of thrust here at 41 amps. So we do have, obviously we're going to have an amp increase because it's a steeper pitch prop, more aggressive, but it's still very acceptable, you know, even with the efficiency here. You can see all of its efficiency peaks. This motor's efficiency peaks at 50% throttle. And now let's go to the 51s. Let's do the 5145. Now this is a pretty steep pitch, and it's also a 5.1 inch propeller. And we see that it doesn't really get along that well with a 5.1 inch propeller here, because we were getting less thrust and we're also getting more current draw. Not a lot, but again, also the efficiency drops. So a really good propeller is obviously in the 50s. The 5047, whether it be, or the 5043 are really great. Now, if we move to Dalprop 5140, now this is a 5.1 inch prop, but with not as a steep pitch here, we see it's still not as efficient. But then again, this propeller is still weird. I still don't know where this propeller fits, but I just put the data here just so I could compile the data for the propeller. That's why I'm testing also. So you can see that as you please. 1.1 kilogram, it's still pretty good, 1.1 kilogram. But in terms of efficiency, it's not as efficient. It's not terrible, but it's still not that great, you know, because here we could, for example, we're using 1 amp, 2 amps more on full throttle with the Nazgul 5140, and we're getting less thrust than with the Dalprop 5043. So you can see that it's not really efficient. You can also see from the numbers here. So the Nazgul 5140 still, I don't know where it really fits, and it's going to take time to figure out as I test more motors with it, but it's just showing itself as not the most efficient propeller out there. Maybe it's bending, maybe it's too thin, maybe I don't know what's wrong with it. But yeah, it flies good in the air though. But here on the paper, or here in the data, it shows that it's not as efficient as some other propellers, and is unable to extract the full motor performance out. You know, and again, you know, low thrust numbers is totally fine on this propeller, but to also have low current draw as well. But that's not the case here. So it still fits pretty weird. It seems like it's most I think this propeller is best at low throttle maneuvers or high kV. This is actually considered a high kV motor. So it's still very difficult to figure out where the Nazgul 5140 fits into all this data yet, until I test more motors, obviously. So, and again, I'm telling you guys, these are really great sub $10 motors, and they have the thrust that you'll need, the responsiveness that you'll need, and just stick to a 5-inch propeller. As you can see, the 5043, that's what I usually fly on, and it flies really great. And maybe that's why I have a really great experience with these, because of the propeller, because propeller motor combo plays a really big role, and that would explain why my experience was better than some other people's experience. So I'll have everything linked down below. If you found this video useful, please consider joining my Patreon. I do a ton of giveaways. You get access to all kinds of crazy stuff like secret shop access, where I sell my pre-built $300 quads for like 120 bucks because it's just collecting dust and I'm never going to fly them. So come join my Patreon. You'll also ton of giveaways. I think I'm giving away the Tyrannus X9D, the new one, this month to my new Patreons. So if you're new in this month, like if you have like 5, then I choose that from 5 people. So come join my Patreon if you want also access to my schematics and stuff as well, my project files. Now, and again, everything's linked down below. I'll try to get you guys coupons, so check the links in. Obviously, checking the links down below supports the channel. And let me know what you guys think, because that's also very important. And I'll leave you guys with some flight footage, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.